Greetings, I'm Adrian Alejandro Ortiz Gonzalez, and this project is for Mayra Isela and Donango, my English 2 teacher. I'm currently studying English 3 with Marisol del Carmen Rivera. This video and one of this video is for September 18. The first two subjects I'm talking about are simple present and present progressive. When we want to use simple present, we want to use simple present when we're talking about habits, daily routines, or permanent states. Some examples are I drink a cup of tea every morning and he sees a movie on his couch. If we are using it in a negative sentence, we add the auxiliary do or does. Some examples of this are he doesn't eat breakfast on mornings and I don't like to study. If we want to ask something, we just exchange do and the subject. Just like in does she play video games every time? Do you want some ice cream? Or doesn't he play in a soccer team? Next we have present progressive, which we use if we are talking about actions that are happening at the moment, temporary situations, or to describe a future action or event that is already scheduled. For example, we have I'm recording myself, we are playing at the game John shows, or he's watching anime. If we are using it in a negative sentence, we just add the negative after the verb to be. Like in I'm not eating that spaghetti, he is not recording anything on the camera, or that old man isn't wearing a mask. If we want to use it as a question, we just change the verb to be and the subject. Some examples are you coming to class? Is she going after that handbag? Or are we all saying the same thing? Next, we have the comparative and superlative of adjectives. They are used in a similar way. Comparative is used when we are comparing features to describe how something changed or to compare one thing to another by adding than. Some examples are I'm taller than Han, the rent is getting more and more expensive, are you feeling better now? My art is not as good as yours, or his hair is longer than hers. Superlative, by the other way, is used to describe characteristics to its fullest extent, adding the before the adjective. Some examples are Angela's room is the cleanest, New York is the biggest city in the United States, his smartest student is Lisa, or my teacher is the words and what technology refers to. You may be wondering why do we add that after tall in taller than Han. It's something we should know to use the comparative and superlative in a correct way. If the adjective is a one syllable word, if it ends in E, for the comparative we add an R, and for the superlative we add an S and T. If it ends in a Y, we add for the comparative higher, and for the superlative highest. And if it ends on a consonant, we repeat that consonant and end in comparative with er and superlative with est. Next, we have simple past, which we use to talk about actions that have already ended in the time prior to the current one. We must consider the auxiliary did for negative and interrogative forms. This is the same auxiliary do and does, but in past time. And we also have to consider the irregular verbs which change their grammar forms when we pass it to past. Some examples of this time are I ate just a couple hours ago, we knew about the COVID-19 but it didn't matter to us, and did you check our money before buying that? We continue with the modal verbs. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs that cannot function as main verbs, unlike the auxiliary verbs be, do, and have that can function as main verb. Modal verbs express modality, ability, possibility, need, or other condition. We use them for the future and the conditional. As complementary verbs, modal verbs don't work without another verb. This other verb always comes after the modal verb and is in the base form, the infinitive without to. Modal verbs are not conjugated and they do not have time. The modal verbs are can, who indicates ability or possibility, like in I can speak 5 languages, or in it can be dangerous to drive if you are tired. Could indicates possibility or ability in the past and possibilities in the future. I couldn't sleep last night, or you could pass the test if you studied. May is used to indicate possibilities in the future, like in I will bring an umbrella, it may rain later. Or we can use it to give permission or instructions, like in you may leave if you like. Might is used to indicate possibilities in the present or the future. In these cases, it is a synonym of may. Some examples are it might be better to finish this now rather than wait until tomorrow, or in I will bring an umbrella, it might rain later. Next, we have the imperative form. We can use the imperative form to give an order, to give a warning, or advice, and if used, please, to make a request. To make the imperative, use the infinitive of the verb without to. Some examples are come here or sit down. To make a negative imperative, put do not or don't before the verb, like in don't go or do not walk on the grass. If we want to include ourselves, we use let's, just like in let's go to daddy's place or let's not fight with each other. We can make requests by putting a polite word before the verb, just like please take a seat or kindly leave the room. Finally, we have the simple future. The simple future is used to express actions or events that will happen in a time after the present moment. There's 2 principal ways to use it, will and going to. The simple future is used in a lot of ways. To predict a future event, like in it will rain tomorrow, with I or we to express a spontaneous decision, I'll pay for the tickets by credit card. To express willingness to do something, like in I'll do the washing up, he'll carry your bag for you. In a negative way, to express rejection or unwillingness to do something. The baby won't eat his soup. I won't leave until I've seen the manager, for example. In interrogative form, with shall. In interrogative form, with shall and I to formulate an offer. Shall I open the window? In question form, with shall and we to formulate a suggestion. Shall we go to the cinema tonight? And in question form, with shall and I to request advice or instructions. What shall I tell the boss about this money? With you to give orders. You will do exactly as I say. Interrogatively, with you to formulate an invitation, like in will you come to the dance with me? Will you marry me? For example. Will is used when we refer to spontaneous decisions about the future, that is, the actions to be carried out have not been planned prior to the present moment. Generally, there are promises, requests, or offers, among others. Going to is used to express the intention that a person has to carry out a certain activity in the more or less near future. The decision to carry out this activity has been made at some point in the past. It is also used to express the certainty that the speaker has that something is going to happen in the more or less near future because there are obvious signs of it in the present. An example of this could be when we say that it is going to rain because we see the sky cloudy or we even smell the rain, right? Or also when we say something simple like I'm going to the store. You already plan that you are going outside to the store. And I guess that's it. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for staying. I hope I wasn't such a boring project. And that's it. I hope you have a excellent day.